Good morning, lovely souls. Happy Friday. Tim in the chilly woods. I'm sat here wrapped up as best as possible. Next episode you'll probably see me dressed like an Ewok. So I hope you're all good. We're approaching a very powerful date on the 8th. And I was reflecting with David Essery yesterday about how absolutely full on October has been, or more to the point, the whole year. The incredible landmarks and scenarios that we've witnessed and that we've moved through, and the situations that we've personally on an individual and a collective level witnessed. And we're currently witnessing the next phase of the game, and that's from a 5D witnessing 3D perspective. Okay, now I know some people don't kind of appreciate the numbers and the boxes, but for the sake of describing the energies and the situations that we deal with, I always prefer to use 3D. I always prefer to use 3D. And you can always, if you had it on a piece of paper, it was 3D equals ego. That's where we've come from. 5D equals heart. Of course, there's a lot more involved with it than that. But ultimately, those are the boundaries of those particular two energies. So at the moment, 5D is witnessing 3D perform incredible stunts, pre-planned, prepared stunts, which have been in the kind of on the drawing board for decades, if not hundreds of years. And ultimately, as I've spoken about previously, all of these events, all of these actions, all of these triggers that we are witnessing are calling upon us to make an exchange if we choose to do so. So in this particular, I'm going to speak about it this morning until my voice goes. You can still hear I'm on the business end of a bit of a cleansing, a personal cleansing, as many of you also are experiencing. There's a few points I want to look at this morning without getting confusing. One is the quantity of light that is coming recently, and that has been propelled, fueled and triggered by this outburst of cosmic light from the sun, from the universe, from the higher dimensions. And of course we all receive this, and as I said previously, we have to integrate it. It goes into our bodies, our fields, our cells. Everything expands and begins to vibrate faster. Okay, so you add light, or the cosmos or our ascension team adds light to us and our situation, we begin to vibrate faster, or the whole structure of our reality begins to vibrate faster. When that occurs, all the denser aspects of us, such as our thoughts, the emotions that we were kind of maybe hiding away or clinging on to, that need to be looked at, to be embraced, to be loved, they all begin to vibrate at this, and everything comes to the surface. But this is a very, very physical one. Okay, lots of us have suddenly got clouted by something rather similar to August 2021. Got some very similar parallels. And of course the cleansing is deep. Okay, when our bodies say stop, we stop. We stop. We rearrange the things that may have been calling upon our personal time, our personal energy, what we put in our bodies, what we extend outwards to others, to situations. And these are valuable personal re-evaluations, and they're also valuable opportunities to detoxify, to clean up our precious physical self. So that's point number one that's going on at the moment, and it's massive. It's affecting a lot of people. Of course, there's the exterior triggers. There's things that trigger these scenarios off, and then we go into the physical detox. And as I've said before, I personally believe very strongly that you don't catch a virus, you don't catch a bacterial infection. The body is in agreement to experience this in order to, like road sweepers, have this move through the system and detoxify. So whereas you can say, oh, this caused this, in actual fact, the bodily response that is going on within you is all preordained, it's pre-agreed, and it's serving a very precious purpose at the moment. So that, although it is uncomfortable, and there's a lot of people feeling that discomfort at the moment, on the other side of the discomfort comes the shininess, the new system, the cleanliness, the purity. So that's been big. That was almost sailed over the top of my head because there was so much other stuff going on. But most importantly at the moment is the third dimension requesting our participation. Okay, and I've spoken about this a lot, but more so than ever, and I'm going to use a specific example. Okay, I'm gonna use a specific example and explain it in a way where I don't kind of trigger the bots or so. In 2020, the entire planet was shut down, and it was done so under a set of circumstances which many people were very drawn into and very frightened by. There was a section of us that saw right through it, saw it for exactly what it was. And now on the other side of it, there is almost like what we describe as a deliberate infusion of news into the mainstream that's actually saying, well, yes, this is exactly how you saw it. It was all pantomime. It was, of course, there was stuff going on, but the situations that were changing people's lives, such as the complete shutting down of the planet, was pantomime to create a certain set of rules and regulations and situations that are now feeding through. And these situations are being expressed by figures in the mainstream news who are saying, well, we didn't know at the time, so we're calling for forgiveness. And I've seen this doing the rounds on social media recently, and it's designed to create anger, fury, a righteous outpouring of indignation that is aimed directly at designated figures. Now, I'm going to say very specifically that we save our emotion for things that it is needed upon. This is a call to us to engage in scenarios that actually don't have anything to do with us, okay? Our focus, our entire point of manifestation should be creating a heart-centered reality. Now, if we are allowing ourselves to be swept up in a tidal wave of anger or we told you so, it is simply, again, feeding a situation which has been pre-planned and pre-organized and pre-orchestrated to garner emotions and fields of energy which completely envelop groups of people and consciousnesses and points of manifestation. Always be aware, very, very aware of what you are being told, what you are being fed with, what is being infused into your consciousness, and make sure that absolutely everything that you do or engage with eventually comes from a point of a fifth dimensional consciousness. The heart, okay? So the second something triggers you, the second, raw, I'm angry about that. That was exactly how I saw it, or I told you so. Come back into the heart center and rise above it and look at that perspective again from a higher point, and you will see that it does not matter. Okay, yes, these situations are occurring and they have directly affected people that we love, that we are close to, and have directly impacted in one way or another how we live, how we engaged, how we move through those years. But on a grander scheme of things, that isn't going to solve any situation that we are currently embroiled in or putting our energy into. We are on a fifth dimensional level being called to create golden structures. We're being called to create from the heart. So all of these calls, all of these requests, all of these invitations to throw ourselves into these fields of 3D energy are to be risen above. And now more so than ever, as I felt was coming at least 2 or 3 weeks ago, this is when we have to be oh so more vigilant than we were previously. To be as discerning as the angelics, to be as wise and as self-controlled as the ascended masters, the ones that have been through lifetime after lifetime of extremely challenging existences and incarnations. Now's the point in our current process to put all of our training into action. And we're going to see all of this going on. We're going to witness it. It's going to be affecting people that are directly so very close to us. And although it may be completely against our better conscious judgment to extend forgiveness, it doesn't even need to be on that level. We just simply rise above it. Those situations no longer concerned us. They happened. They were part of what is forming our reality and what has woken up an incredible sea, millions and billions of people. And everything has served a higher purpose. Okay, so I'm talking very specifically about the situations that have been occurring for the last 2 or 3 years. And of course, we're now entering the next phase. So be as vigilant and as grounded and as self-aware and as disciplined with your emotions and your energy fields as you possibly can at the moment. Give nothing away unless it is absolutely being given from your heart. Now, I know that this is a human response. We have to acknowledge our humanness. We say to ourselves, I am angry, I am emotionally triggered, and these things, you know, we have to acknowledge this on a human level and love that aspect of ourselves, but it is not who we truly are. Okay, so we don't have to become so invested in these circumstances and these situations that we change how we think, how we act on a long-term basis. We simply reevaluate, reset, come back to center, reignite the heart again and begin to move forwards. If that is making sense. Sorry, quick throat clear. So, very much the next push from the aspects of the 3D matrix at the moment, and it's so interesting to watch it all occurring. Even in the UK, where we've got this incredible scenario where one of the politicians who was directly involved in all of the scenarios that we remember so well is now going into a celebrity jungle program. If you know, you know, you'll know who I'm talking about. And even this is creating anger. It's creating, how very dare they? This is the reaction that they want. They want anger. They want our emotional investment. They want this whole scenario of revenge. We must take what's ours. We must claim our rights because we were right all along. And no, we don't. We just, whatever. We'll be right above it, and we continue to do what we do, unfazed, unaffected, disciplined, cleared, heart-centered, and aligned with each other. Okay, let the carnival proceed. Let the carnival do what carnivals do. Let the clowns perform. Let them go through their motions. This is their choice, their pathway. And until they realise that the road is beginning to just simply run out of paving bricks, they will continue to do so. Doesn't matter what we do or we say or how high the light gets, they are going to carry on proceeding with this until they can proceed no more. It is of no effect. Okay. So that's the major point that I wanted to talk, the major thing that I wanted to talk about running up now for the last part of the year. And of course, what they're doing also is squeezing and rearranging and dealing and trying to affect the things that are going to impact our lives. Again, then we call back into our centeredness and our manifestation, our sovereignty. Said many times over the course of this year that the more that we can unplug from our kind of associations with the 3D matrix, the more untouchable we become. And of course, I understand that that is not fully possible for all of us, me included, because there's so much of us that are invested in the old ways, the old systems. And as those systems change, as they evolve, as they become part of the higher light network, then we will then see how they are going to provide for us and that we are going to provide for them, and everything works symbiotically. So remaining in center at this particular and most very intense time, I believe is more important than anything else at the moment, to completely just be aware that everything that you are being fed, anything that comes out of the screens, anything that's part of the media, any information that is you might receive it in your message box, you might receive it as part of a comment on a thread that you are participating in. Once you've then engaged with that, and you've then say maybe passed it on to somebody else in its current form, you become responsible for that energy as the sender. So if it is not in alignment with your heart, let it stop there. Okay, and let that particular form of energy go no further. If you're going to share something which is going to raise somebody's vibration. If you're going to say something that comes from a place of peace or love or constructive loving criticism. And all of these energies that we put out, that we speak, that we engage with, build this field of love. Because even at the level that we're working at the moment, we are fluctuating, we are constantly bouncing between all of these different energies, and it's all based on how we're thinking, how we're feeling, how we're speaking. So the more chance that we have to perfect this, the more chance that we have to hone this at the moment, the better. Because as I said in the previous recording, once we get to the other side of all of this chaotic soup of mixed energies, we're not going to need to worry about these things in the way that we are at the moment. We're not going to need to be invested in any way or concerned, because we're simply all going to be part of a field that is functioning from the heart. There will always be challenges. There will always be things that we've got to work through. There will always be the next level of initiation, but we will be dealing with it differently from a higher perspective. That is the way that our life builds. And a lot of us aren't really noticing how incredibly vastly that this has changed, because we've been so wrapped up in the fast moving world that we are involved with. Let the light carry us through, okay? become part of a flow that is so divine and so heart orientated that when these distractions come up, it just simply has no emotional trigger and no emotional effect, because we've risen above that and we're thinking from the divine mind, from our heart center, rather than plugged into all of this show. And as they keep saying in that particular part of the Matrix, the show must go on, but the show will end. It will come to a grinding halt at some point, and that will happen when a collective bulk of people have simply unplugged. They are no longer invested in it. It no longer matters, because we're creating for ourselves at a much higher frequency. Now, I'm going to be running a workshop on the 8th of November, and hopefully my voice will be fully returned and empowered for that, about completely realigning our energy and focusing on removing ourselves from the matrix and creating at a higher level. And the details of that event, there's 2 events. The first one is on the 8th of November and the second one is on the 22nd of November. So there's going to be a couple of weeks gap in between. But if you want to sign up and you want to join me for that, the details are below the video. So yes, that is my Friday morning. I'm going to go in and get warm now because it's actually quite chilly, even though the sun's coming up behind me. Hope you'll have a beautiful weekend. I'll be back on Monday with Meditation Monday, and let's see what all of this brings through for us. But on Monday there is also a very powerful, and I mean powerful, planetary alignment. I'm sure most of you know what's going on, and we're ready for it energetically. A lot of what we are experiencing at the moment is preparation, so just bear that in mind. Sending you all so much love. See you soon. Bye for now.